Hello, this is Dr. Jewel Williams here with our author moment, and I'm talking about my fruit shall remain. So today I'm not actually talking about my books per se, but I'm talking about just the call to be an author. So let me read John 15:16. I've been reading this all week. And it says, "You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, and ye shall go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit shall remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he shall give it to you." And so as an author, and for those that are maybe listening and just want to encourage you, I'm talking for the author perspective from this scripture. I'm talking about I have chosen you. Your story, whatever the story is that you are presenting, and I'm talking from a Christian perspective, because every book is not necessarily honoring God. So I'm talking solely from a Christian perspective. God has chosen you for a reason to write the book that He told you to write. Whether it's part of your story, whether it is part of a healing process, whether it's greater revelation on, and you fill in the blank, whatever it is, God has chosen you for that reason. He's given you the assignment because there's a uniqueness to you. Your lived experience, your understanding, all of that matters to God when He calls you to the assignment. And then He says not only has He chosen you, but He ordained you to do this. So it wasn't like just a general request. Like I can ask them, would you be willing to go to the store for me? But I can tell my children, I want you to go to the store. There's a different level of ask. There's the first ask where it's like, if you want to. The ordained is more like I'm sending you, this is a direct instructions for you to do something. So God has ordained you to write whatever the story is that He's told you to write. And you got to write it. And guess what? The part that I want us to understand is there's some fruit that's going to come from that. There's going to be something that will bless others so that when they partake of that, it blesses them. There's kind of this residual, this continual. So there's things even now. I've had one of my books, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. I wrote that many, many years ago. It's a book for teen girls. I was a Sunday school teacher at the time, and my girls said, the Bible don't speak to nothing. So I wrote a 13-week curriculum and saying, yeah, it does. And so I talked about everything from goals to dating. And I've had young women read that and reach out to me years later and say, that book helped me. And then they explain why. Guess what? That's part of your fruit remaining. Let's be for real. As an author, yeah, you want to be on New York bestseller, this, and you want all of the money we want. That's what we want. Let's just be honest. But there's a bigger purpose than that, because you can make a whole bunch of money, but did a life change? Did somebody, did what you write shift the trajectory of somebody's life from something negative to something positive? You and only you and God can answer that question. Again, I'm not saying you don't want to make some financial blessings from, but that just can't be your only goal. But I said that to say this. When you allow God to use you for the purpose that He called you to be an author, your fruit will remain. They're going to be the legacy of others that are blessed. Even once I leave this earth, if my books are still being published and they still have access to it, people can still get that which I left in the earth. That's a legacy. That's leaving a legacy. And so that second part of the scripture, then my prayer is, God, allow my books to get into the hands of those who it's going to make a difference to. Let my book reach those that it will bless, encourage, strengthen, or even remind them that they are not alone. Like I said, again, I've gotten emails of people saying, hey, I've heard your story. I've read some of your books and they've blessed me. And not only that, how I know it made a difference, because I've had people share some very intimate details of their lives. So that's just how moved they were. I'm a stranger, but yet they're sharing these deep things. So as an author, from an author perspective, remember that you've been chosen. God chose you to do the assignment, to write whatever it is He told you to write. And I pray that He will bless your book to reach it and get into the hands of those that will be life-changing for. God bless.